sheets, so sweet, I can't leave. Maybe that is why they say we toxic. We full of toxic love. Cause when I say we done, you say we done, then we back together. If that makes us toxic, we don't give up. Cause baby, at least we know it's real.
WEFM, the new fresh sound. WhatsApp us or call us at 457-9997. Rise and shine. Let's get ready to take on the day. Activated Mornings on WEFM 99.9 is on now.
Good morning, Buiti Benafi, buenos dias, bonjour, aloha to everyone listening to us this morning. It's time for Activated Mornings, our talk segment with Roleza and Dianna. At this time, we are going to take in our commentary from Mr. PeeJohn, who is already here. Greetings, PeeJohn.
Greetings and good morning to both of you. And I have a question. What is wrong with our schools? Now, the newspaper Friday, February 7, 2025, carried 4 disturbing stories relating to the conditions in few of our schools. These stories were all given a place of prominence in the publication. In fact, they were plastered on page 2, and they read as follows. Number 1, union calls on teachers to withdraw service to shut down Canaan schools. Number 2, students flee as rats invade Kingston Government School. 3, teachers' unions says no toilet paper at schools. And 4, rat infestations shut down Girls High School, Thomas Sanders Secondary. Now, according to the first story, there's no drinking water in the schools in Canaan. So the union called on its members to withdraw their service. In the second story, students and teachers had to dodge rats that apparently took over the school. In the third story, one that we touched on before, the president of the union claimed that the Ministry of Education has failed to supply schools with much needed toilet paper. In the fourth story, GHS and Thomas Sanders Secondary have reported once again severe flea infestations resulting from dozens of stray dogs that constantly invade their compounds. Now, these stories might appear to be minor issues for some. However, they may well reflect some deep-seated issues affecting the provision of education in this country. We hear so much about the education revolution and the tremendous amount of resources invested in the sector. These kinds of stories appear to contradict the top priority given to education. Could it be the reportage of these stories as part of a broader agenda to embarrass the authorities? What good does it serve to give prominence to such horrible reports? As a long-serving educator myself, retired, I am perturbed by these kinds of reports. Perhaps we need to hear from the authorities what is going on in our schools. By the way, the fall of the previous administration began with unrest over deteriorating conditions in schools sometime in the late 1990s. I urge you to go back and look at some old papers and you'll see what I'm talking about. And, my dear, that is my rant for the day.
All right, then. What is going on in our schools? That's definitely a good question. We came across these articles over the weekend as well. We did look into them. And we sort of started speaking on one yesterday, which is the case of the mother who's frustrated about the bullying, and it seems to not be getting the proper...
I didn't even touch that.
Yeah. So,
but see, in as much as all these stories are planted in the same area, that is why I kind of highlighted them.
But PeeJohn planted in the same...
They were all found on one page.
Right, in the newspaper, right. But wasn't it just best to just group all of them together as opposed to having them spread out in the newspaper? And I note your question of, is the broader agenda to embarrass the authorities? No, is it a case to embarrass the authorities or just to bring these issues to the light of the public? And I also have to wonder as well, how many other situations are happening in schools that are not reported, or have not found their way to the newspapers as well? So I'm not sure if it's a case of embarrass or if it's to highlight. But I take your position.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, PeeJohn.
Let us hope that we get somebody from the authority who could call in and say something about these, because sometimes when these issues are raised, we are met with a deafening silence, and that is part of one of my issues too.
Okay.
We hear very little from the authorities when these things come up sometimes. Okay, thank you.
All right.
All
Thank
the
you,
best.
PeeJohn. Bye-bye.
All right. Let me once again say good morning to everyone who is listening to WEFM 99.9, the clean, fresh sound this morning. It's the best way you can start your day. You're starting your day with WEFM, you're going to have an amazing day. If you don't have an amazing day, I don't know, you probably change the station. I don't know, but it's a wonderful way to. Okay, so we have a caller on the line already. Good morning, caller.
Yeah, good morning to both of you.
Morning.
I'm just wondering why PeeJohn want to reference the schools back to 1990. That's so many years ago. Why is he comparing those years together? That's all my concern.
What happened back then? Come enlighten us. What happened back then?
I don't have a clue.
Okay.
I don't have. That's why I'm asking why he will reference what happened in the news last week with 1990.
I think he was saying because it's issues like this that cause, issues in the schools that caused the beginning of that, or that caused that to happen. So it started off something like this, I suppose.
But this administration was in power for 25 years. Come on,
It would have been NDP in power at that time. So, okay, well, maybe somebody would enlighten us, all of us. All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
I'm curious that I should have asked PeeJohn. I'm wondering if that 90s one he's talking about is the one where the teachers were tear gassed. And
No,
I think
the
it's
tear
not
gas,
that.
I think happened in the 70s. I think it happened. Oh, so PeeJohn calling back. All right, so we get our answer. Hi, PeeJohn.
Yes, I'll go back as far as 1996. Almost every week, there was a negative story about schools being published. There was a prominent one published in the newspaper with children sitting on the floor in a particular school. And between 1996 and 1998, almost every month, is an exaggeration, of course, but ever so often, the unions was up in arms. I know because I was the PR of the union at that time, and I kept clippings, and I have these clippings still, showing that the restiveness of the teaching population eventually led to the fall of the NDP. And that is the point I was making when I say, by the way, the fall of the previous administration began with unrest over deteriorating conditions in schools sometime in the 1990s. In fact, it was in late 1990s.
But
that is the point I was making.
Okay. But PeeJohn, is there something wrong with highlighting negative things with the hope for change?
No, I don't think so.
Right.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Right. So for me, if persons have drawn these things, that's to the attention of the Ministry of Education or higher up, and nothing has been done and nothing has changed it. Yes, it might be a case of wanting to embarrass the administration, but the thing of it is that you can't have people, and in this case, children, suffering if things have been drawn to their attention and nothing is being done about the situation. So bringing it to the fore of the public, to me, is one of the best ways to get change to happen. So
And one thing I want to note with these stories, there's never a line which says efforts to contact the authorities to get their version.
Okay.
None of these stories indicate that.
Okay, so I could take that point, right? So I could take that. All right. So thanks for calling back and enlightening us. Thanks. All right.
School issues. I mean, as I want to zoom in on what PeeJohn said, and the fact that there is nothing that says that authorities were contacted or they tried to contact them. So I think I don't want to say too much, because it would be good for us to hear from the officials on these issues. But I believe I have no issue with them being published, because I believe the publicity will help to. Sometimes we don't act until things are made public. Sometimes people would complain in private, make reports on certain issues, and nothing would be done until you hear it in the media. Now everybody knows about it, and now certain people might look bad or whatever the case may be, and then the issue gets addressed. So,
and this is one of the things, well, PeeJohn was talking about print media because it was in the newspaper, but this is also one of the benefits of social media on a whole, where you get to call things out, you get to put people and situations on blast, and from doing that, you see change happening. So, all right, so we have another call. This will be our final call before we head out. Hi, caller. Good morning.
Hi, good morning, ladies.
morning.
I personally have no problem with these things being highlighted, but as I say from time to time, I would also like to hear some of the positive things that happen. Look at the student in one of the schools up north. He came out shining. We have students who, despite these things these conditions that exist in the schools, we still have success stories coming out. So let us have an even balance. Let us get the good, the not too good, and the indifferent. Have a wonderful day.
All right. Thanks, Joshua.
All right, and I believe with that we are going to.
So somebody here is saying, I think the callers missed the point. This is the start of the process or history. This is the start of a process or history repeating itself. Should parents not have an active interest in their children's school's operation and act for improvement accordingly? All right. So I suppose bringing, things to the attention of the media is parents' way of trying to get things to change. So, All right.
Yep. And with that, we are going to head out of this first talk segment, but we'll be right back at 7:45 with more commentary. And at 7:35, in just a few minutes, we are going to have our traffic talk.